Hello, all. This is Jay Crush, the host with the utmost, the hip hop journalist and the MC terrorist. You see me in the papers, on TV, videos, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, this is our first shooting for the online radio show that I'm putting together with my partner Bianca and Roy. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I want to give people a chance to show their talents. People that don't normally get a chance to be seen on TV or to be seen in magazines and things like that. We're looking for models, DJs, MCs, comedians, poets, singers, bands, everything. So tonight's the first shooting. I'm going to interview my man Self. He's down with the Wildlife Federation. That's a group I started in '95, in which Cat Claw was a stem from that, and it got stolen by this, by this guy. That's later. But anyway, tonight I'm going to be interviewing Self for the first shooting, and we're going to go from there. All right, yeah, this would be real good.
I know I double booked on you that time, and I had to send a lot of guys away, and I just wanted to say here for the first show that sorry about that. I have someone else doing it now, so okay.
So you actually couldn't.
Nah, we can do it right now.
That's what I'm saying. But
I'm ready right now. You know the answer. Your beard. I saw it, dude.
You know what? It's all good.
All right, we ready? And action.
All right, now, this is Jay Crush. You all know who I am. And I brought one of my brothers from another mother, my man Self, And how we got down is...
A luck of fate, man.
No, for real, but how...
What is it called? Struck a luck of hope?
Well, no, I just think it was just something...
Hold on. Cut. Redo it. It's just this practice.
Well, just let me talk, and then I'm going
to... You got to go.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I was saying something. He kind of... Okay. This is Jay Crush. You all know who I be. I'm with a close friend of mine, my man Self, MC and producer extraordinaire. Wildlife Federation in effect. Now, how we got down is, we've heard about each other throughout the years, but one night he actually did a show down here in 8 Park Street, and he called me on stage, and I was honored. But then at the same time, what he told me is it was an honor to call you on stage, but just the reason, just the fact that he called me up there, once again, like I said, I was honored, and I said, look, you rolling with us now. So I adopted him as a Wildlife Fed, and we just been going strong since then. And the brother's talented, on the production tip and on the MC tip, So I'm going to let him introduce himself and tell him who he is and everything else and what he does and,
What's going on, everybody? My name's Self. I'm an MC. I've been rapping since I was 8 years old. I've been in a lot of different battles, organized battles, bragging rights in New York at the Wetlands, lyrical combat in Newark, verbal farm in Newark, sound lab in Montclair. I've just been doing a lot of things in open mic circuits as far as battles and. I'm not really trying to do that right now, but that was my main thing. Right now I'm just working on an album, trying to write raps and stay productive as far as the writing process. And I also produce as well under an alias. My alias is I'm the custodian of records. I've worked with a lot of people. I'm trying to work with a lot of local artists and basically get Jersey back on the map, because there was a time when there was a flavor unit. It was 45 King, you know what I'm saying? Lakim Shabazz and Queen Latifah, YZ, It was a lot of stuff coming out of Jersey, Naughty by Nature, and there was a real big it was to the point where Jersey almost had a stronghold over the game. And my whole thing is I'm trying to get something started again. I'm not saying it's gonna be the heyday, but I'm trying to do the same thing that was going on before, and just kind of bring it back. You know what I mean? To where we were at the forefront. We weren't just like, a dirty secret in the hip hop game. You know what I mean? And right now I'm just producing. I'm trying to work with like-minded individuals. Anybody wants to get at me, email me 5rosback@gmail, and that's it. I'm just kicking it with my man Goff. We're down in 8 Park Street kicking it live, and that's basically it for now as far as introduction goes.
Yeah, Goff. I know that guy as well. He's actually Crush's twin brother. He's my twin brother, Goff. He's a good guy, but once again, this is a talented brother right here, and you gotta hear his tracks, and if you haven't heard him rhyme, that's another thing you have to definitely hear. Like, those of y'all that came here to like any of the events or shows that they had or what have you, you definitely would have got a taste of it. But now, all right, let me ask you something real quick. Now, who is it that got you into like actually rapping? And like, who was the people that inspired you?
Me, unfortunately, I came up listening to a lot of garbage, like a lot of people my age. So it was like my mom's would buy me stuff like MC Hammer, you know what I mean, like stuff like. But she did buy me like the Chubb Rock, Treat 'Em Right EP. So there was like little like glitches in the Matrix. Like she'd buy me like, you know what I mean. And then it was also like, oh yeah, I got into third base. But I mean, as far as like people who really got me started, that's what you're asking, right? Like people who really inspired me to rap and pick up a mic and really start rocking. I would have to say like, man, Native Tongue, you know what I mean? Like as a whole, like their whole crew, like as far as like Ice Cube, you know what I mean? Like Death Certificate was like one of my favorite albums ever. And I liked a lot of gangster rap. I liked, quote unquote gangster rap. I liked Ice Cube. I liked, the Soul Assassins. I was like, that's kind of like, I mean, coming up, that was kind of like, like the whole like suburban rebellion. That was like, you know what I mean? You was fucking with like Soul Assassins. That was like, you was fucking with Be Real and them. That was like, that was what's up. But as far as like people, I like De La Soul. I grew up listening to them. Watching Yo MTV Raps. Third Base, of course. I mean, I liked a lot of dudes like, let me think. I mean, 91 was like my year where I really was like, this is what I want to do. So it was like Ghetto Boys. I like 2 Live Crew. That was the first people I bit. You know what I mean? Like 2 Live Crew was like the first group that I would bite off of. You know what I mean? Like kick rhymes about having sex with women. Like I've never, even seen a vagina. You know what I mean? Like that was my main thing. So it was like 2 Live Crew, Ghetto Boys, NWA, Ice Cube, you know what I mean? Like all that type of stuff, all the negative shit, you know what I mean? And then gradually I went into like Native Tongues, like Tribe Called Quest, Cypress Hill, and then like then it by the time it got to like 93, 94, I was listening to stuff like Beat Nuts and like, Curious George and just all that type of shit. So it was like millions of other artists like Brand Nubian and the names are endless, but it was just like at that time I realized I was like by when I was 8 years old, like 91, I realized it was more of a novelty back then, but it was still, I felt like, I want to be a performer. I want to like say shit. I want to come up with raps. I want to rap. You know what I mean? That was my main thing that wanted me to do it. And one of the main people to get me to do that was definitely Ice Cube. I'd have to give it up to him.
Yeah, Ice Cube. Yeah, definitely.
No Vaseline. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
Yeah, Ice Cube's a very talented brother, very versatile young man. Definitely like Hollywood. like as far as film and the music.
That was before that, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, you have. Well, don't
He
forget.
calling me bad shit though. He just
Remember Boys in the Hood. Yeah, Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, exactly. I went to see that movie with my dad. You know what I mean? Like imagine,
you know, white kid going with his dad to see Boys in the Hood and like all these like horrible movies, like quote unquote horrible. And it's like, you know what I mean? People getting shot in it, and there's all types of gangster shit going on. But it's like, you know what I mean? It was a good movie, and you know, it's Ice Cube. You know, I learned stuff from that. You know. But yeah, that was basically, and then the soundtrack. I was eating off the soundtrack for a while. You had stuff like Compton's Most Wanted. You had MC8. You know,
Professor.
He was on it.
Yeah.
Shit, I got the soundtrack.
Game of baseball.
Yeah. Main source. Shit, that's another inspiration, yo. Like Faking the Funk, all that stuff, man. What you need is a source, the underground sound from the group. Cause I fucked with them even when Mikey D was involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Like my era was like, I mean. As far as hip hop goes, it started as like kind of like maybe a fad, you know what I mean? Where my mom would kind of tease me and be like, "Oh, you're gonna call yourself MC Saran, and you know what I mean? You're gonna be an MC," and I'm like, "Yeah, you know what I mean." You had shit like "Color Me Bad" and fucking what was it? I Got the Power, and CNC Music Factory, yeah, Snap, and I ain't even talking about Rob G. I'm talking about, you know what I mean? So I was like. So if you're a white kid growing up, you're gonna get force fed the wackest shit possible as far as like hip hop at that age. You know what I mean? So that was like I had to, which made it more genuine because I had to find what I liked. You know what I mean? I had to seek it out. I had to beg my dad to take me to when he would go to work in the city on the weekends. I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, can I come with you and go to like Tower Records and shit like that?" That was like, you know what I mean? How I formed my taste. And then I bought shit like Houdini's greatest hits, you know what I mean? I learned about like, you know what I mean, like the old school shit. That was just how I even bought a World Class Wrecking Crew CD. You know, Dr. Dre looking all gay and shit. That's how it was, you know what I'm saying? I listened to the shit, you know, that's how it was, but you know what I mean? I went and bought the shit. Like, yo, I want to hear what this dude was doing, why Eazy was dissing him. You know what I mean? Shit like that. I wanted to get behind the whole controversy and learn shit. So, you know, everything taught me, man. Everything taught me, yo. Like, people taught me. You know, it's whatever. Everything gave me motivation.
Now, do you think do you think that it's important for anybody that I say is a rapper, DJ, whatever, like, because you know the game changed drastically, and it definitely needs to come back to the essence. But do you think that it's important for anybody that's doing any one of the four elements, whether MCing, DJing, b-boying? For those of you all, the commercial word is breakdancing, but it's really b-boying. Our graffiti artists, like, do you think it's important for them to really know the history and who the forefathers is, and like who the first graffiti artist was, who started hip hop, you know?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people involved right now are retarded because like what they're into right now is like they talk a bunch of shit like, yeah, man, this is what we do, man. This is rap. Yo, we spit. We got this. We got a group. We got this and that. Yo, we fuck with this dude. We fuck with that dude. But it's like at the end of the day, man, all you doing is rap. And rap is something you do. You know what I mean? For you to fucking discredit people for doing like real shit, like as far as like, all right, for instance, let me go back for a second. What I'm trying to say is this, man. People right now are hung up on the fucking rap element. You know what I mean? They don't know shit about anything else. It's like they're going to McDonald's and they're only ordering fries. You know what I mean? And honey mustard if they're lucky. So there's nothing else being added to the fucking menu. Like when you just do that, you automatically exempt yourself from being involved in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like if you're some dude who's like fucking like yeah, man, I'm all about this. You know, I spit. You know, like yo, my man Buckshot put it the best way, man. I think he was talking about Cassidy when he said Cassidy was a better rapper than Dougie Fresh, but Dougie Fresh could command a crowd. Dougie Fresh was an MC and Cassidy was a rapper. There's a big distinction between that, and I think the Bull Cassidy is really good, actually. You know what I mean? I like him a lot, but I'm talking about like a lot of these kids are not very cultured. They don't understand that it's like fuck bigger than hip hop is bigger than rapping. You know what I mean? Like, it's actually bigger than just like fucking rap. Like, when people want to diss people and be like, oh yeah, man, you're not hip hop, you're not this and that. It's like, oh, you're not doing this, you're not. It's like, dude, you gotta look back to like old shit. Like, man, the fucking OJs were hip hop. You know what I mean? Like Curtis Mayfield was hip hop. David Axelrod is hip hop. Bob James is hip hop. You know what I mean? Spiral Gira is hip hop. Everything is fucking hip hop because everything is everything. You know what I mean? And people need to understand that it's not just beats and rhymes. That's what it all starts at. It is a Big Bang Theory. You know what I mean? And it's like this, man. Everything is fucking important because without the DJ, without the producer, without the sound man, the MC would be a fucking acapella artist. So it doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? So that shit is paramount to like the success of the MC. The MC needs a DJ, and that's what's lacking right now. And a lot of people like to say that they're all about the DJ. Like, yo, we putting out mixtapes. A lot of these DJs is a bunch of fucking iPod DJs. They're not spinning it anymore. And I'm not even knocking Serato Scratch because I fuck with Serato Scratch. But I'm talking about just DJs in general are on some more like, yo, I'm gonna press play, have it come in, and it's some old other shit. There's no mixing going on. There's no nothing going on. So, it's just right now, man. I think hip hop is like Walmart, you know what I mean? It's just on some fast food shit right now. It's not what it once was, and people need to understand how fucking important that is in graffiti, and that's a key contributor to like the whole fucking style aspect. You know what I mean? These motherfuckers walking Air Force Ones with fucking paint on their shit. They wondering what the fuck it means. You know what I mean? Like that's some graffiti shit. If you understand hip hop, you gotta understand. You gotta know every fucking graph artist's name, but you gotta know that like that shit is a fucking key element of hip hop. Not key. It is hip hop. You know what I mean? Everything is hip hop, man. To be honest with you, that's how I feel. I feel like everything is hip hop. Except for Garth Brooks, but you know what I mean? That's another story altogether.
And just to let you know, a lot of you do not know, and I definitely got to meet KSlay, because I'm one guy that knows what time it is, especially with him. KSlay is one of the original graffiti artists. His name was Dez. And he was the mentor of trap. You know what I'm saying? So definitely. See, a lot of y'all probably didn't even know that. Y'all probably just know as, KSlay from Hot 97 or what have you, dealing with Pat Poose and putting it down as far as the mixed CDs that he was putting out. But he was an original graffiti artist named Dez. Like, he's definitely a pioneer. A lot of and once again, a lot of y'all didn't know that, and you probably didn't even know of him until Hot 97. You know what I mean? You got to do your research. Like, I think that like whatever, if you want to be a doctor or anything, you have to like do some type of research on it, and like history, like say the first pharmacist or anything, like whatever field you're into, you have to know the history of it. So if you're into rap, you got to know the history of rap, who started it, the first MC, everything. Like this guy, you definitely got to know who he is, Melly Mel, and which he, congratulations to him for making the Hall of Fame. Africa Bambaataa, my father, Peace Aki, or Peace King, should I say. TC Islam, peace. But like I said, you're not going to know where you're going if you don't know where you came from. So anybody that claims to be into hip-hop, you got to know what it's all about, where it came from, when it started, everything. Now, I got another question. So, like, how did you get into production? Like, because, I of course I heard your tracks, and they're definitely fire. I saw you do your thing in different beat battles around the way. Yeah, how'd you get into production? Like, what made you want to start doing beats?
Yo, honestly, with that was like, it goes back to inspiration. You know what I mean? How you were asking me who inspired me to rap. It's like, who inspired me to produce. So it's like, when you say that, it's like, yo, man, Beat Nuts, Diamond D, Large Professor, you know what I mean? Like Premier, of course, like 45 King, you know, it's like so many different people. Like, I wonder if I said Pete Rock, did I say him? But there's so many different producers, like Marley Marl, who's like to me the grandfather of like sampling. Like he really said it, where he made like that transition from like those like real like kind of tinty, you know, synthesizer beats to like the real, you know what I'm saying? Like he went from the Roxanne to like some like kind of boom bap sampling drums and doing a lot of more things, like, you know, Battle in Brooklyn and like Master Ace and everything with them, man. Everything with Juice Crew, basically. And that was like a dude I came up, you know what I mean, like listening to. So basically, I first heard about the actual people calling the shit the boom bap from like KRS-One. Nobody couldn't have put it better. You know what I mean? Like, this is what the fucking production is for hip hop. It's the boom bap. You know what I mean? It's a kick and a snare, not a do do do. It's a you know what I mean? So that's like what I always listen to, what I always taken a liking to was like the real thorough, like I'm talking about filters and SB 1200 drums, and I love that shit, and that's what I grew up listening to. So, you know, I wanted to become a producer at, you know what I mean, when I was a senior in high school. Well, actually, when I was a freshman in high school, and I used to go to a studio, you know, homeboy, and I would get him to put it in his SP 1200 on Midland Ave, you know what I'm talking about, and he would he put it in there, and I'd be like, hey, sample this for me, do this drum, do this, that, you know what I mean, add this snare, and he'd do it, you know what I mean? That's well, not exactly, he had his own sounds, and I'd be like, yeah, do this for me, and, you know, that's what it is. So, at that, and I had an ear for samples always, you know what I mean? So, it got to a point where I was like, you know what, let me stop paying the studio doing all this, let me make my own stuff. So, I got a program called Acid for my computer, and it's very good because when you would sample something, when you would put something in your computer, it would like make the sample conform to any beats per minute you wanted them to. So if I wanted it to be like, you know what I mean, it was a very easy thing, but the programming was stiff because I used to have to drag the fucking kicks and snares with like a mouse. So it was very like, it was very stiff, and that's how I find a lot of computer production is very stiff. It's not like the same thing because you're not programming the drums in real time. So what I did was I saved up. I worked at a supermarket in the dairy department for a really long time, and I saved up $1,300, and I went and bought something called an Akai MPC 2000 XL, and I had to max out the sampling time, and I started. Well, at that time, I was buying a lot of records because, you know, people like Diamond D and Digging in the Crates, is the name speaks for itself. That was what I wanted to do. I wanted to dig in the crates. I wanted to find records. I wanted to unearth stuff that nobody's used before, and that's how it happened. I bought a lot of garbage records. I made a lot of trash beats, but, you know, 3 years later, I started getting better, and, you know, I'm still progressing at this time, and, you know, it was just a very, you know, I love the music. It started off as a self-serving thing, but now it's to the point where I can just put a record on the player and just listen to it, lay back, and just get into it. And that's all. I love this music, man, because you know what? That old shit was hip hop. That was real hip hop. That everything is hip hop to me. That's just how I feel. Anytime you hear a fucking garbage truck or a bus, hydraulics, you know, when the bus kind of lowers down for the handicapped folks, you know what I mean? That's, to me, is fucking hip hop. You know what I mean? That's a big beat to me. You know what I mean? When it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, yo, I wanted to do it. I'm not saying I'm good at it. I'm not saying I'm the best at it. It's just something I like to do, and I enjoy it. It's like fucking Apple Jacks. I just like it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Don't gotta be intellectualized. That's how I am. That's what I like to do. You know what I mean? I make beats. Some people like them, some people don't. But you know what I mean? That's what it is.
Okay, let's we do some. What you did was so good. This, you know what I'm saying? Why? Let's wrap it.
All right, well, hey man, I'd like to thank my man Self for coming down, you know, and kicking the science and a little bit of the history. You know, it's always a pleasure seeing you, my man, you know. anything you wanna say to all the hip hoppers out there and computer land, should I say?
Yeah. It's I mean, honestly, as far as computer land goes, I think that the downloading craze is a good thing actually, because it's keeping the industry on their toes right now. And also, another thing that's good about the downloading thing is there's a new thing out called Serato Scratch, where people could actually like put like a platter of wax and scratch in shit that's on it from an MP3 file, and I think it's dope now. You know what I mean? Because you know what? They got a war on